Welcome back to the lab. Saturday afternoon, it's the date, 20th I think it might be, something like that. It's the weekend before this thing here, that the march goes to Hampton Downs for the grand final. There's only 4 rounds. The final round of NZ Superlap series. Interesting situation with points and stuff and things. I mean, it's technically possible to win it. And then in some areas it's technically improbable to win it. But I'm going to give it a bit of a go anyway and see how we end up. You'll see canards, or dive planes, or dooflickies, whatever you want to call them, have appeared on the front of the car. I'm not sure if you've seen those or not. I can't be bothered looking back on the previous video and see what I talked about or didn't talk about. I'm pretty sure you know about this. That's gone back on after the original one got demolished at Pukekohe. Now, some things have happened here. Look at that. That's brand new. Got rid of the old ones. Was a bit concerned that, I mean, it probably was strong enough, but you can look back in the videos and see how that one worked originally, but it was a piece of 150 by 6, so 6 mil thick, 150 wide, had a couple of holes in it just to make it look a little bit better and a bit lighter. So it came down to about here, came back at an angle. So basically what was happening was all the force of the wing was beyond the end of all the welding that was holding the bracket on. So it was kind of in a leverage state. So it was putting a lot of tension on the weld at the front, and a bit of compression on the back. And if the weld wasn't good enough, there's potential it could have snapped itself off. So I cut them off and put these big fellas on here like this. That's not going to come off. if this fails, the car's upside down or something, you know. That is not coming off. And the reason why I did that is because I extended the wing. So this is a gurney flap. I did show you that earlier, didn't I? So is it like a 19 mil or something? Gurney flap was on here originally, so I foxtrot Oscared that and bent this up. So as you can see, that follows the shape of that nicely, and then it's got less of an angle on it, so more better in my opinion. That added some weight to the wing, so to combat that I made some real carbon fibre. I mean, there's some defects in it, can't really even feel that, but they're not uber perfect, but those are significantly lighter than the end plates that were on there before, which were basically signboard. Oh look, they're kicking around over here somewhere. See if I can find them for you. Are they in there? There, see? Feel the weight of that, he says, knowing full well that he can't. So they're like 4 mil thick signboard with fake carbon fibre either side of them. There's like 300 or 400 grams, 500 grams or whatever it is out of that top area, getting rid of those. So mucking around with other stuff and things. Obviously this is missing, I'll show you that in a second. That piece there was made out of 2 mil thick aluminium, just because it was easier to shape it and get it looking relatively nice. Of course it's now carbon fibre, so it's another, I can't remember what that is, a couple 100 grams or 300 grams or something like that. Just make it lighter where we can, right? So same deal with this here. This is being done kind of backwards how you would normally do it. Normally you'd want the surface that you're going to see would be the surface that goes against the mold, so it's nice and shiny and beautiful, etc. That's not as easy as you'd think with this particular part, because the way it was made, it would involve basically taking a plug and then rounding off some corners and stuff, and then taking a mold off that, which I didn't want to do. So just a lot of time and effort for really minimal gains. So just slap that on there like that, should be beauty, good as gold. When that's dry, I'll put another layer of epoxy over there. It'll add another 50 grams to the weight or something, but it'll look shiny and pretty, and it'll be easier to clean. That's gonna come out reasonably well. It comes out, it's not going to be beautiful, certainly not going to be F1 quality, but that's fine. Speaking of F1 quality, the Locost is coming along quite nicely. I've made these brackets to attach the front guards. So they're there. Should I put it? I should put it down. I need to put it, not put it to sleep. I need to put it down on the ground, so in case we have another earthquake, which we tend to have in New Zealand. Let's get it down and have a look. That's better, isn't it? Down where we can see everything. So, whole rear axles actually, rear suspension, everything back this way. This is all done now. This is actually finished. We might need to change the rear springs, and we need to put some oil in the diff and also brake fluid. But other than that, everything goes roundy. It's all attached. It's good, it's done. So, progress, yay. We got some fire squishers, fire extinguishers. They're only like 40 bucks each or something. And 1 kg fire extinguishers are not really going to help a hell of a lot in a fire. So why not? Let's just put 2 in there, and might save a little beast from a disaster one day, or help save someone else's car from a disaster. Handbrake. I can't remember if you've seen that in video. It's been posted on Facebook, but there we go. Handbrake. Good as gold. It's a little bit sticky, isn't it? So I need to look at that. Panel. That panel that goes around the base of the gear lever, covers up the trans tunnel. The reason why that is off is because in here, there you go, in the middle of your screen, is a brake light switch, which is plumbed into the hydraulic system. So it's pressure switch. As soon as you get enough pressure in the system, which it'll go off at a very, very low pressure, the brake lights will come on. We haven't got any brake lights on there yet. They are coming. Instrument cluster. Look at that. That's us. That's our instrument cluster. That's all that's going on there. Move these out of the way so we don't drop them. Do you reckon I can do this one-handed? Oh, she's tricky. I don't think I can do this one-handed. You can do it. Look, I will. I will do it one-handed. There you go. And it's even nearly straight. So nice and simple. We end up with our head is about here somewhere when you're driving it. So if the wheel was straight, you'd be able to see the lights on the top of the switches. We have got, what have we got? Alternator light is this one. Next one along is the ignition light, and next one along is the oil light. Tachometer, it's not in the middle of the car, because when you're sitting in the driver's seat and you've got your hand on the steering wheel here, you don't want to obscure your view of your tachometer, because it's basically the only gauge you're really going to give a damn about when you're driving this car, except for the temperature gauge. So it's offset, and also because of the structural integrity of the dash panel, with having quite a large hole cut out of it right where 2 holes are in the middle there, it would have made it pretty weak. So it's nice there, in my opinion. It lines up better with the gear lever and the handbrake lever, etc. It's good. So tachometer works. Tachometer has got a shift light arrangement in it and a recall arrangement. So if you power it up and push the button, it shows you how many RPM you had gone to in the previous. I think I haven't figured out how to clear that yet, but it works. So that's good. We are getting there. Excuse me, ducking around here. These, I know, some of you are going to hate the fact that I put screws through the guards, and you're going to say, why didn't you bond the brackets onto the back with fiberglass or whatever? Because this is going to last better. This is going to be more long-term, more better, easier to work on the car. If there's anything that needs to be done, you can actually take them off and work on them quite easily. 6mm thick aluminium. Actually the same aluminium that the, what are we going to call them, the uprights for the wing on the March, that's where they came from. Not a simple task due to the suspension arms and the layout of the whole thing, making that fit in there, and then a guard that barely covers the tyres, so you couldn't just come straight up because the guard would be massively offset. So you got to come up and you got to come across, and you got to go up again, and then you got to go around inside the guard. So done, beautiful. Well, I think they're beautiful. They look pretty good. Yeah, it looks good, doesn't it? See that? And I brought them around so that the front section here is around about the same angle as the front section nose cone there, just for a bit of feng shui. Feng shui, whatever, some good. Make it look pretty. Coulda, woulda, shoulda. No, we better not. It's supposed to be a low cost, you can't put carbon fibre on it. Well, there you go. There's your update. There has been a bunch of other stuff going on, but it's not video worthy. Things like I finally wired up the temperature sensor in the March. It's been there in the gearbox right from the get-go. And originally I had it set up so that I could unplug the transfer box and plug in the gearbox and get that to work. The reason for that is there's only four pickups on the pinions. There's only 4 inputs. Let's get the terminology right. I better do while I'm wearing that. There's only 4 inputs on the Link Extreme ECU that have a pull-up built into them. So that pull-up resistor. And if you don't know what that is, it's to do with voltage and to make a little voltage into a bigger voltage so that the computer can run it properly. Now, there are other temperature inputs that don't have a pull-up on them, and you can put an external resistor on there to get them up to the right voltage so they work properly. But the Link PDM, the Razer PDM, that has analog inputs with pull-ups, and analog input is what your temperature sensors go into. So I stuffed my wires into my PDM, I pulled it through the CAN system out inside the Link Extreme ECU and told it what it was for and where it came from, etc. And ta-da! I've got a temperature sensor for my gearbox without a resistor hanging around somewhere external to the car, to the ECU, etc. that potentially could have caused problems. So that's good. So there's more temperature inputs, so I'm going to run around and put lots of temperature sensors on, lots of things. It's going to be bloody awesome. Right. It's 10 to 5. I'm going to edit this and smash it up on YouTube. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to, you must be subscribed, I would assume. Surely everyone who's into this sort of stuff knows about my channel, right? All right? Anyway, I'll smash this up so you can see this. Tomorrow, we're going to carry on with this thing here that's in the background here and get that on the front of the car. Find something else to make out of carbon fibre. All right, cheers, bye.